Hello nieces, hello nephew, it's your Uncle Chartis and welcome back to my YouTube channel. If I was to explain what my trading strategy is in a very simplified way, I would say that I just identify support level, I identify resistance level, and I look for calls if it break above resistance, and I look for puts if it breaks below support, and I play it level to level, meaning from support to resistance or from resistance to support. All right, that's a simplified way that I would explain my trading strategy, and that is what I try to dedicate my YouTube videos to, is helping you guys identify these support and resistance levels and talk about the potential scenario that can happen. Okay, if that sounds good to you, please hit the like button, please hit the subscribe button if you didn't already, and turn on the notification bell. That would mean a lot. Now we're gonna get into this, starting with the flow sentiment from cheddar flow, option flow, bearish, 93% in the puts, 7% in the calls. Okay, filtered for 500k premiums or above, and big money is still bearish to the downside for good reason. We are technically still in a bear market. We did not clear this big critical level that I've been talking about all week, okay, which we're going to talk about more today. Okay, but that's what it is. Overall bearish for the big money. Okay, going to my Discord here, I have a bull case scenario and a bear case scenario. They both kind of, well, mostly the bear case came into play today. But we did have another strategy that I later talked about in another post, which I will talk about. But the first strategy or plan for the day was first support is at 375.5 to 376. Okay, so I was saying look for puts. Look for puts if that support fails, and we'll target 373.5 to 374 zone, then 372, and so on. Okay, so looking here at the daily chart, looking here at the 15-minute chart, all right, SPY opened up here around 9:30. All right, very tricky day. Now my plan for the day was I was either going to look for puts if this level fails, the orange line is my 376 to 375.5 zone, or if 378.5 can clear. That was a upside resistance. Okay, that was the bull case scenario. All right, I was also looking at this intraday support level, which I did alert to the group, but I don't really like to use these intraday, support resistance level. I don't really like to use these. I prefer to use my own level because it's based on the daily chart or weekly chart, but I did mention it to the group. And you see here, got a close above, almost went and touched my 378.5 target level or resistance level, went as high as 378.2, but ultimately failed to close it. All right, I did not really trade off of this trend line. However, finally, all morning I was bored. Finally got the breakdown of my trend line. I entered on this candle right here, the 1145 candle, entered on the 375.5 breakdown, and took profit around the 379.9ish. Okay, went down to my zone, had a 373.5 to 374 zone. I just played level to level. I left a runner. It went down a little, as you can see, SPY went down, but I wasn't able to take profit on that on my runner. Okay, because I went out for lunch, and well, you can see hit my SPY recaptured this rising wedge pattern here. Okay, we talked about this rising wedge pattern yesterday. All right, had a 373.5 to 374 zone, and also aligned on with this rising wedge pattern. Okay, that's why I took profit level to level. It did break down, went a little lower, as low as 372.9ish, but ultimately recaptured it. All right, recaptured the rising wedge. I don't want to say, I got a little mixed up earlier because I don't want to say it recaptured my support level. Okay, my support level was 373.5. This is what might confuse a lot of people. This is a 15-minute chart, and it's a chart that I use to execute my trade. And as you can see here with these long wicks, you can see that SPY intraday did go below my 373.5 support level, but it never closed below it. So I don't count it as losing the level. Yes, it washed below it, but it ultimately defended and held. Okay, if it was a close below it, then I would consider, okay, that level was lost. All right, so I don't want to say it recaptured my support level, but it definitely recaptured the rising wedge pattern. False breakdowns are bearish. Okay, talked about this all the time, and this play was actually covered, all right, on the Discord. All right, right here. 373.5 to 374 zone defended and recaptured the rising wedge. Had a price target 375.5 to 376 back in play, and I further covered it some more. But as you can see here, it recaptured 376 level. That's where I entered calls because I like to let the first leg play out and I'd rather just catch the second leg. Took profit around 378.5ish and ended my day. Okay, just strictly following the price action. I'm not using any indicators or anything like that. I'm just following the price action based on the support level, resistance level. That's it. When a support fails, I'll look for puts. When a resistant clears, I'll look for calls. Simple. I do it every day, rinse and repeat. Does it always work? No, I gotta respect my stop loss when it doesn't. But overall, it did. Okay, 2 trades today. I didn't trade too much. I'm getting older. I don't want to take on too many trades because it's a lot of stress. Okay, it's a lot of stress. So I want to trade as little bit as possible. I don't care about catching the whole move. I want to just catch a piece of the action, take my money and run, rinse and repeat. Okay, now back to the rising wedge here. Okay, now there is a setup we talked about yesterday. All right, if you guys bought puts off of that 378.5 test of the resistance of the rising wedge yesterday, I mentioned yesterday that is a good setup to go test the support of the rising wedge for the next day, and as you can see, it did test it. Okay, so I'm glad to see that it aged well. There's possibly people out there waiting for me to be wrong about something. I don't know why. I'm not paid to be wrong, okay? Put it that way. But it did age well. All right, now there is a setup where the rising wedge rises, and that white line right there is my 380 resistant level based on the daily chart from March 2020 low to January 2022 high. That is the 38.2 retracement level. Okay, and it also very close to the rising wedge. So there is a setup for a little bit more upside. Okay, there is a setup to test that level. However, I have to acknowledge there is also a setup for downside. Okay, double top right here. Double top. Now, I did say my resistance level was 378.5, but technically speaking, if we go based on the chart, the resistance level, you can see in hindsight, was around 378.6ish, 378.7ish. So there is a double top right there. So while there is a setup for more upside to 380, there is a setup for downside, possibly to break down this rising wedge. Remember, if we break down this rising wedge, that's very, very bearish, and a rising wedge technically is a bearish pattern. Okay, like I always say, we don't need to predict. I know there's a lot of people don't listen to me and they want to predict and act like they're the Jesus of trading, but I'm gonna tell you this: we don't need to predict. We just need to let the price action show us what it wants to do. Okay, if we can clear that 378.5 level or 378.6 level, we can possibly backtest that 380 level. Okay, the 38.2 retracing level, that is a very critical level that we broke down in mid-June. Okay, now if we can't clear that level and I start seeing SPY once again breaking down support, because remember my strategy, I'll look for puts when a support fails. Support right now is 376 to 375.5 zone. Okay, I want to see that 375.5 level fail. Also a breakdown at the rising wedge, very close to each other. Okay, it's crossing. That's a very bearish sign, and that's when I would look for puts. Okay, going to the this is the daily chart here. See, that's the 38.2 retracement level right there. All right, from March 2020 low to January 2022 high. We are very close to back testing it as a resistance. Okay, and actually to back test it as a resistance, if we get the rejection there, that would be bearish price action, which I talk about in my video, the back test and go strategy. Links in the description below. Okay, we're very close to it. But like I said, there is a double top potential around 378.6s. Need to clear that level to test 380. If we clear 380, I know a lot of bears don't like that, but if we clear 380, I'm just saying what can potentially happen so that we can be prepared. Okay, unbiasedly. If 380 clears, I still have more price targets up above. 384, 385, that was a previous low over here. 387, previous low here, but possibly fill the gap around 390. All right, If we clear 390, then of course we have more upside targets. We'll play it level to level, one level at a time, one leg at a time. If we clear 390, then that can possibly put 397, then another gap fill around 1.5 in play. The point of knowing the support and resistance level is to know where the potential pivot points are. Okay, we gotta watch the reaction in real time. The key to being a successful trader, in my opinion, is being a reactive trader, not a trader that predicts the market, because everyone wants to act like they're they're fortune tellers, but in reality, no one can see the future, and 90% plus of traders lose. Okay, so that's why I say play it level to level. That's we're not chasing home runs or anything like that, and we gotta allow the levels to break. So it's like the price action is speaking to us, telling us, hey, we're going up, but it's going down. I know that sounds weird, but that's what I do every single day. That's what I do on my Discord, and it works. You guys see almost every day when I talk about what strategy or what the plan was for the day, and then I show you the charts, it works. How does it always work? No, but if you've been watching my video for quite some time, just tell me. You can tell me how often it doesn't work, how to compare to it does work. You know what I mean? So that's what I try to do. Like I said, I know there's some people probably hoping that I'm wrong or something, but I'm not paid to be wrong. I have to be on point, and I'm going to continue to be on point because my job is to serve others. Okay, and I can't let people down. All right, so that's what I got for you for the SPY. Above 380, I would be bullish. Okay, obviously we are in the bear market, and staying below 380 keeps us in bear market territory. So like I talked about, that 376 level to 375.5 level right there, and then watch around the rising wedge pattern, which is around that zone 375 to 376. All right, we break below that. That's a breakdown of the rising wedge. Could be a sign that we're heading down lower. But that's based on a smaller time frame. Based on the daily chart, I still have this falling wedge right here, the pink line, and the critical support level of that falling wedge is around 372. So if SPY breaks below 372, that's a sign to enter puts. That's when I would enter puts, or I would bet to the downside, and I would target level to level. I have a support at 369. Then the multi-year trend line connecting September 2020 low to October 2020 low around 365.7ish, and if that fails, I have a level to 362. So basically, every time a level fails, I would look for puts, or I would, if I hit a level, I would look to take profits. Okay, so above 380, I would look for calls. Below 375ish, I will look for puts for tomorrow. That's the plan for tomorrow. But the big level would be 372 based on the rising wedge. If that fails, like I said, we could see more downside. And here is the VIX. VIX is still looking bearish, guys. Not trying to be biased or anything. It lost 29.74 support level yesterday. Today it back tested it as a resistance. It needs to get above to be bullish. All right, right now it's showing us bearish price action with the next support around 27.59. All right, QQQ finally closed above that 282.3 level. So there's a setup for more upside. Okay, my next target was 285, which it hit that today and closed just a little above that. But if we can clear that, 286.6 is back in play. Above that, we can possibly gap fill around 288.4. All right, got a level around 294.8. That's the beginning of this gap. Another level around 297. Then the gap fill at 299.3ish. Okay, guys, when we clear a resistance, look for calls. When a support fails, look for puts. And here's the Dow Jones, cleared a resistance, back tested the 303.5 level, 6 level actually, as a support. It held, closed above the 305.5 level, looking like a hammer candle here. All right, so I got some resistance at 307.6s. All right, 310.7. That's the beginning of the gap right here. 312.4. That's the previous, based on a previous low, and the gap fill around 314.4ish. Okay, we can clear that. Got this resistant line, this red resistant line right here connecting April 21st high to June 7th high. All right, and then that coincides with the 324.7ish level. All right, I think that is one of my fib levels. Yep, that's my 23.6 Fibonacci level from the March 2020 low to the January 2022 high. Okay, so obviously if we clear that level, that would be very bullish, and I would look for calls. Okay, so remember, we're getting it today. Support fails, look for puts. Resistance clears, look for calls. And IWM did not clear a resistance today. It did test it though. All right, it did test the 170 resistant level. Needs to clear to put 174.3-ish in play. Okay, so because it didn't clear it, it's not looking bullish just yet. We need to see what happens tomorrow. As long as below though, 165.7 is the next support level, with 163 below that. All right, Apple also cleared resistance today. Could this be a bull trap? I don't know. It could be. Got it. We need to lose a support level if it is a bull trap. Okay, but look at that. It tested the 138.4 level as a support, resistance. Excuse me. So it needs to clear that tomorrow to put 141.5 in play. Then the gap fill around 142.6s with 143 above that. All right. Support is now 137. If we lose that level again, that's a sign to enter puts and bet to the downside with 133.5 in play. Okay. And Tesla alerted Tesla today. Very nice trade to the downside, but it did find some momentum and recaptured that 700 support level that I had at the end of the day. Okay. Still below this yellow resistance line. If we lose 700 tomorrow, look for puts. I will target 680. Got pretty close to that today. So 685 to 680, around that zone, would look for look to take profit if you short from the 700 support level. Okay, I will look for calls if we could clear this yellow resistant line now at 717 and 716, around that zone. Okay, and that will put upside targets in place, 740, possibly 765. We shall see. All right, guys. So that's what I have for you guys today. Thank you guys so much. Appreciate you guys so much for watching. Have a good one. Peace.